Last-minute shopping can be tough. With empty shelves and ideas running low, things get stressful. Aura Frames is the solution with a gift that feels personal. Take my parents, for example. At their age, they're just focused on family. That's why I'm excited to give them an Aura Frame. Aura Frames are digital picture frames that will allow me and my parents to display an unlimited number of photos on rotation. All we have to do is download the Aura app and invite family to see memories come alive in the highest resolution display on the market. I know they'll be thrilled to stay up to date on the newest photos of the grandkids. Plus, I can preload photos before they ship. After all, you can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura Frames' best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code HORROR at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code HORROR. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so get yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. If you could stop somebody from breaking in before they got inside, why wouldn't you? Most old-school systems go off after someone's already in your place. That's too late. SimpliSafe is different. It's proactive, with a double layer of defense that stops crimes before they start. First, AI-powered cameras spot potential threats outside. Then, live agents step in, talking to the person through the camera, letting them know they're on video and police will be dispatched if they don't leave. They can even trigger a loud siren or spotlight. That's how you help stop crime before it starts. I got SimpliSafe a few months back, and I've never felt more secure. My new entry and motion sensors give me confidence that my family and belongings are safe. Whether I'm out of town or settling in for the night, that's real safety at the click of a button. This month only, take 50% off any new system. This is one of the best prices you'll ever see for SimpliSafe. Don't miss it. Hit simplisafe.com/disturbed. Again, that's simplisafe.com/disturbed and lock in your discount. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Hello, and welcome back to In Cold Pursuit, a Disturbed true horror production. Here we'll tell you the stories of those long forgotten, whose sudden demise are as tragic as they are intriguing. Here you'll learn about previously unsolved cases whose perpetrators went unknown for decades. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this is In Cold Pursuit. Viewer discretion is advised. Thanks for your support, patrons. Let us know if you'd like to see more of this content in the future. Today, we're examining a cold case that haunted Stanford University and Santa Clara County for decades. This is the story of Arliss Perry, a young woman whose life was cut horrifyingly short. The year is 1974. The country is in the throes of the Watergate scandal. Long before the Silicon Valley boom, Northern California was known for the summer of love, for counterculture and free thinking. It was also juxtaposed with a penchant for serial murder. In just the past 5 years, the Zodiac Killer, the Doodler, the Lady Killer have all left their mark on this region, known for peace and love. At Stanford alone, there have been 3 murders in just the last couple years. All that being said, getting into Stanford is a huge opportunity. An Ivy League on your resume meant the world in 1974. Who could turn that down? Bruce Perry was from Bismarck, North Dakota, a world away from the turmoil of the Bay Area in the early 70s. At the start of his sophomore year at Stanford, Bruce brings his newly wedded high school sweetheart to live with him on campus, Arliss. The young couple's future looked bright as they began their new life together, and Arliss found work as a receptionist at a nearby law firm. The night of October 12, 1974 seemed like any other. Around 11:30 p.m., Arliss and Bruce had an argument over their car's tire pressure. Nothing dramatic, every couple has arguments from time to time. Arliss wanted to cool off, get her head on straight, so she headed out to visit the Stanford Memorial Church on campus. She had always been religious, and the church was open until midnight. She was liable to be seen there from time to time, praying in the late evening. Nothing out of the ordinary. Arliss never came back that night. Around 3 a.m., Bruce's worry became too strong to bear. He called the police to report his missing wife. Officers went to the church but found the whole place shuttered for the night, and no sign of Arliss anywhere. Well, at least that the police could see. Around 5:45 a.m., the church's security guard, Stephen Crawford, called the police, his voice disturbingly indifferent. "We've got a stiff here," he told them, reporting that he had locked all the doors at midnight and checked at 2 a.m. to find them still locked. When he arrived later that morning to unlock the building, he found a door open and there were no signs of forced entry. What officers would find when they arrived would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Arliss's body lied splayed at the foot of the altar, nude from the waist down. An ice pick was broken off and lodged in the base of her neck. Signs of strangulation from the necklace she wore around her neck. A candle had been pushed between her breasts, and another 3-foot-long altar candle had been inserted into her genitals. A nearby cushion stained with semen. Then Stanford's safety captain, Raoul Niemeyer, said this about the scene. "I could not believe what I was seeing. I had a few homicides in my day, but I had never seen anything so eerie. The things that were done to defile this woman were just unbelievable." The meticulousness of the scene made it clear that the murderer had time to arrange his victim without fear of being interrupted. It also seemed so elaborate as to be premeditated. The hunt for Arliss's deranged killer was on. Arliss's husband Bruce was one of the first suspects in the case. He was a pre-med student and would have had experience working with dead bodies. And if his wires ever got crossed, Arliss would have been the closest person to him. Well, police soon ruled Bruce out as a suspect. He complied with their investigation fully and even passed a now debunked polygraph test. The next suspect was security guard Stephen Crawford, but there wasn't enough evidence to implicate him in the crime. Though his unsettling 911 call loomed in investigators' minds, they believed he was likely not the perpetrator. At this time, DNA evidence and other advanced investigative tools were still unavailable to police, and all they had to go on was what they could see themselves. Along with the 3 previous murders at Stanford, Arliss's perpetrator was suspected to be a serial killer. Ted Bundy was even considered as a possible suspect, though his alibi held up. Arliss's murder felt different from theirs, however. Arliss was so devoutly Christian, and her murder was so gruesome, that to some it even appeared satanic. The infamous son of Sam even claimed that her death was a part of a ritual conducted by a satanic cult connected to his own crimes. As the satanic panic swept the nation, Arliss's story was swept up by those pushing the narrative of a hidden, violent satanic cult in the United States. In Maury Terry's book, The Ultimate Evil, he speculated that Arliss had been killed by a satanic cultist because of her religious devotion. However, as we now know, there never was a grand satanic conspiracy. David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, was found to be spreading sensational lies making Arliss's case even harder to make sense of. Journalist Scott Herhold said the following about Arliss Perry's murder. "I think one of the things with a murder as dramatic as this one, people felt obligated to try to explain what the motive was, what lay behind it. How could somebody do something so heinous? And I think they can push you to think that this is not simply a one-off thing. This is a part of a whole string of terrible crimes in America. It's an easy jump to make. It's just not necessarily a logical one." For decades, the case sat on the shelves at the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, without any developments. No leads and no new suspects, despite the renewed attention on Arliss's murder. In 2016, the case would gain new energy as the sheriff's office began to look more closely. Rick Alanis, a cold case detective, began the slow process of examining each piece of evidence individually. His pace was more meticulous than most, possibly the reason he was able to identify a problem that had been looming over this investigation from the very beginning. He noticed that the pair of jeans assigned to Arliss weren't her size. After examining a pair of Bruce's jeans, he found that the two had been mislabeled, and for over 40 years, the pants that Arliss was wearing on the night of her murder had been sitting in an evidence designated Bruce Perry. For years, they had been trying to collect DNA evidence from Arliss's jeans, and now they knew why they never made any discoveries. After testing the correct pair of jeans from the night of the murder, police got a hit, a semen sample. After 44 years, police finally had a breakthrough. Stephen Crawford, the security guard from the night in question, was a clear match to the DNA. His story about discovering the body seeming thinner by the second. When police arrived at Crawford's apartment on June 28, 2018, he knew the jig was up. Now 72 years old, Stephen asked the police to wait for him to get dressed. When officers saw Crawford pull a gun out, they quickly backed away, but soon realized his intentions were not what they thought. He turned the weapon on himself, taking his own life in front of the police who were there to arrest him. As officers searched the apartment for clues, they found a copy of Maury Terry's The Ultimate Evil, and most importantly, a suicide note from 2 years prior. Evidently, he had been expecting this day would come, and he cemented his guilt by taking his life at the prospect of facing the crime he had committed so long ago. For decades, Crawford had gone about his life with the weight of Arliss's murder hanging over him. The guard of that sacred space, its defiler, the man entrusted with its care, the same person who did such damage to the psyche of the Stanford community. Upon further investigation, it seemed that Stephen Crawford had long resented his employers and the community. In 1971, Crawford was hired as a police officer, but was demoted after he was found unqualified to wield a firearm. Frustrated and resentful, he would take every opportunity to get revenge over the next 4 years. He stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from the university in the form of rare books and antiquities. He even took a human skull. Once, he tried to forge a diploma for himself after swiping a blank certificate. In 1992, he served a short 6-month suspension for the theft. Author Scott Herhold pointed out in his 2023 book, Murder Under God's Eye, that Crawford had ties to the local police department, which may have helped him elude investigators for so long. Though Stephen Crawford eluded judgment from the law, his life would have ended the same either way. His name in infamy, and his death bloody. Arliss's family wasn't able to get the closure they deserved from his prosecution, but at least they could finally put the question of her murder to rest. Arliss's father passed away a mere 3 months before police closed the case, tragically missing the decades-long closure he had always hoped for. Stephen Crawford's suicide cemented his guilt. To the people of Stanford and the loved ones of Arliss Perry, it's a clear reminder that justice is always worth pursuing, no matter the length or difficulty of its attainment. The victims and their transgressors are owed their day in court. Thank you for joining us for another episode of In Cold Pursuit, a production from the Disturbed True Horror team at Killer Podcasts. I'm your host, Doug Bailey. Our producer is Elizabeth Flood, and our audio engineer is Nathan Corson. Video producer is Kay Holmberg. Executive producer is Noah Fouts. Check out more exclusive content on our Patreon at patreon.com/disturbedpodcast. And hey, stay safe out there.
Beware, extreme passion can lead to shocking consequences.
On Scorned Love Kills, the podcast from ID, find out what happens when lust and obsession turn deadly. In each episode, you'll hear direct audio from the hit TV show and uncover true, unexpected stories about love gone wrong, about relationships that
become a volatile mix of jealousy and anger.
Listen to Scorned Love Kills on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts.